Hi there. So in this video we're going to be doing a tier list on every legend based on how attractive they are by looking at their physical appearance. There are about 62 legends in this game. So I'll pretty much look at them and rank them on 5 different tiers how attractive they are, with legends that are in the low tier being ugly and with high tier being attractive. Brawlhalla legend. So let's get started.
What the hell? Oh my.
Here's my tier list. So we got I'm hard, looking good, it's alright, pretty mid, and trash can. I'm hard means that these legends are very attractive, and trash can mean that these legends are ugly to where it makes me want to puke. Looking at these legends, there are actually a lot non-human characters. So most of them might be ranked low in the tier list. Anyway, let's just start. We'll start off with Bodba. Bodba is going into looking good tier. Bodba does have a pretty good physique and his outfit is nice. He also has a nice mustache. Bodba is basically a bear and a Viking, which could explain why he's dressed like this. Cassidy, when I first played this legend, I used to think this was a dude. But after looking at her up, you know what, I realized it was a woman. So I'll put her in looking good tier. She always seems excited all the time just by looking at her face. And I'm somewhat into cowgirls, I don't know why. Orion, I'm going to put him into pretty mid tier because he's basically a robot. And his character design is mid. Not saying it's horrible, but it could be better. This is why Brawlhalla skins exist. They do enhance each character's looks by a lot. So yeah, Orion is pretty mid. Lord Vraxx is also going into the mid tier. He looks like Jugo if he didn't have a volcano on his head. I was also expecting some Gi art from him. But after looking at it, it was kinda small and disappointing. He's also an alien. As for Nash, Nash can go into trash can. I mean, where do I begin? His teeth are crooked, he doesn't shave, his body odor probably stinks, and he's wearing a dead corpse of a saber-toothed tiger, which I do respect for that. He was basically built like a prehistoric human. So for Queen May, she is going into mid-tier. I'm not a fan of her face paints and her Native American drip. The face paint kind of ruins the look, but I know it's used to symbolize something. She also walks around barefoot, which is kind of odd. Some people might find it attractive. Personally, I'm not into it. Hattori. I put her in Ite. She's Ite. I mean, I like red clothing. It pretty much suits her pretty well, but I don't like how angry she is most of the time. Maybe it's just to show her personality. Also, why are her eyes yellow? Sir Roland. He looks like he cares about his look at it. Giving off classical, fancy vibes type shit. He has pretty nice orange hair, and has a sharp chin. Anyway, I'll put Sir Roland into looking good tier. The only thing holding him back is the clothing. I don't want to see only a night suit, it's pretty basic. Scarlet. Well, looking at her clothing and appearance overall, I don't really like it. She's giving off British, in it, hip hip cheerio vibes. Oh wait, she is British. Anyway, if Scarlet had her hair longer and show more of a casual look, then I would put her higher. So I'll put her in its side tier. Thatch. I'm sorry, but Thatch is not a good looking character. I think that Thatch doesn't care about how he looks. He just seems like a guy that would spend most of his time looking for booty to have. No, not like that. Do you think that Thatch claps cheeks? I mean like treasure. So for that I put him in the trash can tier. So for Ada, when I look at her, she looks like an independent person or like a person who focus on herself. I can tell just by her short hair. She kind of looks like Zarya from Overwatch. Because of this, I'll put her in its side tier. She's not bad looking. Sentinel. Sentinel will go into looking good tier. He's got that high fade haircut going on with a big smile on his face. He's also dressed like a superhero. I'm assuming he's trying to become Captain Africa. Captain America. Lucian. His outfit is pretty mid. You barely see his entire face except for his non-pupil eyes. And he's dressed like a French Revolution soldier. So I'll put him into pretty mid tier. Teros. So he's basically a man bull. And based on his appearance, he doesn't seem to be wearing that much clothing. He does have a red cloth to cover his uncircumcised smoked sausage. So for that he's going into pretty mid tier. So for Bryn, she's literally built like an angel. I feel like she is very attractive. But I think the problem is her clothing, and she also looks kind of old, but I could be wrong about her age. I feel like if she didn't have these things, she would be in I'm hard tier. So she's going into looking good tier. A Siri, another animal to rank. Unlike Teros, she does have some clothes on. But when I look at her, she looks like she would give me bad cuts. Like my cat did to me the other night. So I'll put her in pretty mid tier. Barasa, so for him. He does have a mohawk, his head has stitches, his eyes are yellow, and has a mask. He looks like a mafia boss or some shit. Personally, I can't imagine what his mouth would look like if he took off his mask. So I'll put him in its sight tier. Ember, okay, not gonna lie, she looks kinda cute. She does have cute little pigtails that make me wanna pull it. She also looks like a person who goes on many adventures. Though some people might feel turned off by her elf ears, I don't really mind it. So I'll put her in looking good tier. So for Azoth, he is just a skeleton with some armor, so I'll put him into mid tier. So for Koji, he is not a bad looking person. He is basically a samurai, kind of looks like Hanzo from Overwatch. Yes, another Overwatch inspiration. He also looks like he teaches me some things. So I'll put him into its sight tier. So for Ulgrim. Oh shit, he's pretty swell. That is pretty impressive for his old age. It must be due to him beating his axe that causes him to be like this. Or maybe he's just short. I'll put him into its sight tier. Diana, pretty good looking. But she is a hunter, which kind of makes her style of clothing pretty basic. Similar to Bryn, she would be I'm hard tier if she had better clothing. So I'll put her in looking good tier. So for Jalla has a similar personality to Abba, independent and does her own things. And her outfit is okay. So I'll put her in night tier. Kor is basically just a moving rock with grass on top and one eye. So I'll put him in pretty mid tier. Wushang, I recently made a video on him. He does look pretty good bald. There are many people that aren't able to rock the bald look. So I'll put him in its sight tier. Val, despite being a robot, she doesn't look half bad. But there isn't really much to say other than she is a female robot. So I'll put her into its sight tier. Ragnar is basically a dragon. Ragnar has two different forms, so this form is basically him trying to fit into society by becoming more human. It's also a downgrade from his natural form, which is a freaking dragon. So for that I'll put it into pretty mid tier. See, most of the non-human creatures are ranked lower in this tier list because they are not human and are less likely to be attractive. Unless you're into bestiality. So for Cross, he's basically a Satanist. Because of this, he has to dress in red to match the color of a devil, including his eyes being red sometimes. Although I'm not a fan of his white tie, I do like his red collar shirt. So I'll put him into its sight tier. Mirage, I think she looks pretty attractive. But I think what is holding her back is that most of her looks are covered by some sort of Egyptian clothing. So I'll put her into looking good tier. As for Nyx, comparing her to Mirage, it's like a night and day difference. Mirage represents daytime and Nyx represents nighttime. Nyx is supposed to be a Grim Reaper, which could explain the scythe and the timer on her hand. I'll put Nyx into pretty mid tier. Mordex, I think Mordex looks pretty cool as a werewolf. Ripped jeans and jackets pretty much add on to his looks. I could put him into pretty mid tier, but I kind of leaning more towards its sight tier list. So I'ma put it into that tier. And Yumiko, she's kind of cute. I know she is pretty old and has kitsune tails, but that doesn't really bother me. She is also giving me some anime waifu vibes. So I'll put her into looking good tier. I guess that's it for now. So as of right now, there aren't any Brawlhalla legends that are in I'm hard tier because not of them actually make me hard. However, I'm judging them from their default skin. And not from other Brawlhalla skins or any outside information like fan arts. These things would further enhance each character's looks and physical appearance, especially the fan arts. If you've ever seen any sort of fan art from Brawlhalla legends, you'll understand why. I know that there is a lot of fan art for certain characters like Scarlet, Yumiko, or even Ada. If I were judging based on the fan art, they would probably be in I'm hard tier. But yeah, this is what I got so far. I'll make part 2 on this pretty soon. I might even make some adjustments if I need to and hopefully find some legends that are in I'm hard tier.